It's just the sharing of resources and the camaraderie that goes with it.
I think just, wow, hey, this sounds really cool, live very lightly on the earth, very energy efficient homes.
But it was the community, this intangible thing that you can't really, buy in a store.
It's a very happy place.
Yeah.
One of the biggest joys is seeing the kids tear up and down the sidewalk. I just have to laugh every time I see them.
Well, it was something like 18 years ago by now. I read an article in a publication, and it was describing co-housing, and loved the idea that people could live better than how we live now. Co-housing really has two main concepts underlying it. It's the green aspect, green building, but also the environmental sustainability that comes from sharing resources, and then the community is the other part of it. Then one day, my church was looking for a green architect to design a new building. And I remembered about Katie McCammon and Chuck Durrett, who are the sort of parents of co-housing in the United States. They're the ones that brought the movement to the United States from Denmark. So I recommended them to the architect search committee at my church. And sure enough, they hired Katie.
I saw the ad in the paper for the groundbreaking, and James at the same day found a postcard in our mail telling us, to come and see what's going on. So I couldn't make it that day, but my husband took our daughter and they came.
Afterwards, I remember driving out of the parking lot. George said, this sounds pretty good. I said, well, yeah, I think so too, but I think you're the last person I ever thought that would be interested in it, because you've said you'd always be happy in a cave.
To him it was great, this is it, this is the living. And to me, and I was like, no, thank you. And then he begged me to attend a meeting, and I attended one meeting, and that was it. I just fell in love.
Well, we moved here to the Fresno area 20 years ago from Hawaii, and we bought a house out in Rolling Hills. We remodeled it and put in the world's greatest kitchen. The world's greatest kitchen several years ago. And after the kitchen was built, I said, I'm never leaving this house unless I can take the kitchen with me. But when we moved here, it was that we weren't getting anything necessarily better or worse, we were getting something different. But most of all, the better part of it, though, which we were getting, was community.
Now, the interesting thing about co-housing starting in Denmark was that it was started by people who had, in that case, the Danish dream, the American dream. They had the single-family house, and that there's got to be more to life than this. The first co-housing communities were built in the United States in the early 90s. So those communities are now coming up on their 20-year anniversaries, and they're thriving communities. Typically what happens is you'll get a couple of people talking in an area saying, this is the kind of neighborhood I want to live in. And guess what? It doesn't exist. In most cases, people start by, okay, we've got to organize a group to get it off the ground, go look for land, to get a land under contract. Future residents are involved in the design process. And so you get, it's very, it's a custom neighborhood instead of a custom house. There are now about 120 co-housing communities across the country. Over time, they become very desirable communities. We've found that, in fact, they hold their value much better than other types of housing, typically selling for 110 to 140% higher than houses in the surrounding area. It's an exciting time because I think the world is sort of a paradigm shift and people are really looking at sustainability and how we use less of the Earth's resources. And what co-housing provides is a model of how to do that and still live the good life.
I think the nicest thing for us is having other influences for our son, Joe. He has a lot of adopted grandparents and aunts and uncles that are, there to give him an outlet.
As a family, I felt that we were a little bit isolated. I mean, we all had our own friends, but as far as a community to really interact with and be together with, I thought that we were lacking in that.
In addition to living in a place that's beautiful and sharing it with people we want to be with, we get to save the planet also.
But then there's the buildings themselves that are built with sustainable materials and the best of green architecture. I love knowing that I have a smaller footprint on the earth because I live in co-housing. It just really helps to soothe the guilt that I sometimes feel, knowing that I'm generating a lot of my, all of my electricity.
So Friday was, I had my day at work. I came home here to my two, wonderful daughters, played guitar a little bit, went down and had a wonderful common meal, interacted with folks, chatted for a little while after the delicious meal, and came back up thinking about there probably was going to be leftovers tomorrow, and then played more guitar last night.
This is going to have shrimp, scallops, and calamari.
And it's a big part of living in community is eating together. It's social life and just checking in with each other.
It's the whole social interaction that we might not get in our regular routine life. Like, I don't remember when was the last time we ate as a family, really. But in here, I know when I go there, that's a family dinner.
I love standing in my kitchen and seeing people, everybody that goes by, I know them. And there's just something very nice about that kind of neighborhood.
This is a way I can live somewhere where I really know my neighbors well, and I don't have to figure out how to make that happen.
I said on Sunday, now it's Monday, and even all the birds that I said start to fade away. And Tuesday evening, as the sun goes down and the Gia calls my name, and I want her